was born a champion. Born a champion. Born a champion. Good job, everyone. All right, just a little bit more volume on my mic, please, and we are ready to go. Ricardo, I got seats up front. Come on. Got your name on them, buddy. Okay. So, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And I'm Dr. Yachter. For those of you who I may not have met, welcome tonight if you're a guest. Thank you for coming. How many of you guys have been to a workshop before? Raise your hand. Good. Keep your hands up if you've been to more than a workshop. Like 5 or more. Like 10 or more. Like 20 or more. Like 30 or more. 40, 50, 60. You'll notice there's arms that stay up. Why is that? So the insanity behind that is when you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, Jim, you start what? Dying. How do we know that? Well, repetition is the mother of all skill, right? So, how many of you guys want to have your healthiest year ever? Say aye. Aye. Good. Congratulations for being here tonight. You've taken the first step. So, tonight we're going to talk about fat-burning fitness. Next month we have Heart Smart Nutrition. If you haven't received yet our workshop card, it's got every workshop that we do for the next year, the next 12 months. We do these religiously. Been doing them for the last 21 years. Don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So there's a reason for that. They are life-changing. Many of you guys have been to. How many of you have been to the fat burning workshop more than once? Why do you keep coming back to a fat burning workshop? You've been to it already, right? Why? You always. Don't you always get something new every time you come, right, Cecile? You've been to, 15 years going strong, continuing. Like you're always going to get a golden nugget. So tonight the question is, what's going to be your golden nugget? Turn to your neighbor and ask them, what's going to be your golden nugget?
What's going to be your golden nugget?
I don't know. All right, so when we talk about fat burning fitness, what's the reason behind it? Do you want to just look good? Is it a cosmetic reason, or is there something more important? Because when you start gaining weight, it's not just that your belt gets tight. What else happens? You start having trouble with your heart, start having trouble with your blood sugar, and now they're finding it linked with dementia and Alzheimer's and all kinds of things. So we're going to look at some of the leading predictors tonight, and one of them is obesity. Now, again, obesity, we kind of have an idea of what obesity is, but the World Health Organization has predictive markers that tell you what's coming down the pike. Obesity is when your BMI is over 30. That may not mean a whole lot to you right now, but you'll know what that means before the end of the program tonight. 43 out of all the states in our country, 43 of the states have at least 25% of the population obese. Then you got 20 out of those 50 or 52 states with at least 30%. Then you got a couple of states like Mississippi and West Virginia, 35% of the population. Bob? 35% of the population is obese. Pretty crazy, isn't it? So really, when you start looking at the long and the short of it, a third of our population is obese. More than 60% of adults are overweight. And then you have, in the past 20 years, overweight kids between the ages of 6 and 11 have doubled. They say this generation now is going to be, the parents are going to be outliving the kids. So I have a video here that I would like to share with you. It's quite impactful, and it'll kind of set the tone very soberingly, and then we'll move on from there.
All right, what do we got?
Just came in, heart attack. 5'9", 300 pounds, 32 years old.
How the hell does that happen?
Can I get a, could be developing diabetes. So exchange.
Oh yeah. You're graduating. Watch TV. You won't have to leave.
You can't do this.
cause for every effect, right? And we have to be the leaders. You know, we lead by example. So we can tell our children or we can tell our loved ones what they should and shouldn't do. But as someone once said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? And so who does it start with? It starts with you and me. So as I said, you know, when we start putting on weight, when we start managing that and it becomes part of us and we go through life and we're not getting it off the way we should, it eventually affects our heart. And we start having problems with our blood pressure. And when you go to the doctor, they're going to put you on blood pressure medications. What are some of the most common side effects of blood pressure medication? Raising insulin levels, becoming diabetic eventually because of the side effects of those medicines, premature aging, impotence, things everybody loves, right? Increases your risk of diabetes by up to 50%. That's blood pressure medications, beta blocker drugs, and diuretics. And then once your insulin levels go up, then what's the next medication that you go on? Diabetes medications. Yeah, so the risk of heart failure, they said this in this Wake Forest University study, the risk of heart failure in patients taking diabetes drugs can be up to what? 100% higher than those who don't. Yeah. So the side effects from medications they're not just side effects, they're effects. There's no such thing as taking a medication without an effect. They all have effects on your body, and sooner or later, you know, we all pay the piper in some way, shape, or form. Pancreatic cancer, thyroid cancer, urinary infections, gastrointestinal issues. These aren't things your doctor really discusses with you. It's your job to read that on the side of the box of the prescription. It's your responsibility, not the doctor's, right? So these are the things that need to be considered. Sleep apnea. Do you know people who need a CPAP machine to sleep with? They'll tell you they sleep really well with it because without it, life is very difficult. And that's one of the most common things that you'll see that comes with weight gain. Sleep apnea, a CPAP machine usually accommodates that. 10% weight gain predicts an approximate 32% increase in sleep apnea. But once that weight comes right off, those machines go by the wayside. So these are all things that are reversible. I mean, you can turn the clock back. You can turn the tables of time back. It's called backtracking. So watch this. You lose 22 pounds, it reduces your heart attack risk by what? 75%. That's a big deal. You lose 15 pounds, you reduce your risk of developing diabetes by what? Yeah. Losing 10 pounds doubles your chances of normalizing your blood pressure. Now, again, you're not going to get that on the menu when you go to your medical doctor. They're not going to sit down with you and counsel you. They're not going to give you nutritional recommendations, lifestyle recommendations. You're all to fend for yourself on that. But this is what we're dealing with. And it is possible to completely reverse and normalize a lot of these conditions that we deal with, and many of us die early from as a result of the side effects from the treatment of these conditions, which is completely reversible. So we're here tonight to talk about correcting the cause of that. And you want to learn how to burn fat. Raise your hand if you want to be a fat burner. All day, all night. So how do we do that? Well, the one thing that you don't necessarily need to do to burn fat is count calories. When you diet, basically, you're starving yourself. If you're reducing calories, you're starving yourself. Your body's going into a starvation mode, and as a result of that, your metabolism has to slow down to accommodate that situation. And so, in the process of counting calories, reducing calories, going on a low-calorie diet, what you're doing is you're making your metabolism slower. And that's going to be a problem long-term. Unless you fix the metabolism, when you get off the diet and you start eating again normally with a slower metabolism now, what happens? You always gain the weight back. Does that make sense? How many of you guys have ever done a diet before and you lost weight? Keep your hand up if the weight came back on. Almost all of us, right? Why? Because weight loss should not be about counting calories. Really, weight loss needs to be about raising and resetting your metabolism. And that's what we're going to get into tonight. How do you correct the metabolism? So there are 3 keys that we're going to talk about to raising and resetting your metabolism. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is proper exercise. Believe it or not, you can significantly affect your metabolism by a proper hormonal response. Now, there's different ways to exercise. How many of you guys like biking? How many of you guys like walking? How many of you guys like weightlifting? I like doing all those things. But what I hope you'll learn tonight is that each one of those exercises, each one of those strategies has a different effect on your hormones. Now, depending on what your outcome is, what you want, it's a good idea to know what's going to produce what, right? So look at the guy on the left and look at the guy on the right. Which person would you say looks more healthy and more fit? The sprinter, right? More muscle, lean muscle mass. The jogger on the right looks emaciated. Why is that? Because of the hormonal response that each specific exercise creates. If you look at classic aerobic exercise, what's classic aerobic exercise? Long duration, low intensity, going out for a bike ride for an hour, going out for a run, a jog for an hour, hour and a half, and you do that many times a week. There are benefits to that. Obviously, that's going to stimulate your lymphatic system. It's good for your blood pressure. It increases the stroke volume in the heart, which helps to lower your resting heart rate. So there are some benefits, but what we're primarily concerned with is what is the effect physiologically after the exercise. So when you're talking about classic aerobic exercise, what happens after, you may feel good and there are health benefits while you're doing it, but what happens after? Look at this. It raises stress hormones, particularly something called cortisol. Have you ever heard of cortisol before? What happens with cortisol? Cortisol is a stress hormone. When you're under a lot of stress, don't you gain weight? Why is that? Because when cortisol goes up, it takes insulin up with it. And what does insulin cause your body to do with fat? Not burn it, store it. That's right. So when you're going on long runs or long bike rides or long duration, low intensity aerobic exercise, this is what you're doing. You're raising cortisol. You may be burning fat while you're doing the exercise, but when you're done exercising, what is your body doing? It's programming yourself to store fat, not burn it. It breaks down muscle tissue. It decreases testosterone. Does that sound like a good idea, gentlemen? Not something I particularly want. And human growth hormone, which is the fountain of youth hormone. So these are things that are necessary for promoting muscle mass and burning fat. And it also decreases your immune function, again, after the duration of when you're exercising. So these are all physiological responses that you would have never thought. Did anybody know that? Would anybody guess that? You know? But this explains a lot of how I felt when I was out on those 2-3 hour runs when I was training for a marathon. You know, besides being gone for half the day and not seeing my kids and my family, I was so beat up and exhausted and tired, I'd be sitting in the bathtub for the next hour or two. You know, it took a lot out of me, and I always had to figure out how to manage my energy. When I started studying this, it all made sense to me. And you know what that came to? Understanding that less is more. Everybody say that. Less is more. And here's why. When you do burst training, you're not doing it for 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. You're not doing long duration, you're doing short duration. But you're doing higher intensity. And what the studies show is that promotes a different hormonal response. It promotes building of muscle mass. It promotes higher levels of testosterone. It promotes higher levels of human growth hormone, which is the what? Fountain of youth hormone. How many of you guys want more fountain of youth? Say aye. Aye. Yes. It promotes muscle building. So these are all of the factors that we typically want, but we may have been doing the wrong approach for that. Doesn't that make sense? So look at what happens. Fat is mobilized. You're burning fat after. You may not be burning fat while you're doing the high intensity exercise. You're really burning sugar when you're doing the high intensity. But remember, because of the hormonal response, you're burning fat for the next 36 hours after. That's pretty good return on investment for your time, right? So how do you burst train? How do you do this? You exercise at 80 to 90% of your maximum effort for how long?
20 seconds.
20 seconds? Are you kidding me, Doc? That's it? Just 20 seconds? Yeah. It causes the body to burn fat for how long?
36.
Next 36 hours. So you only want to do 3 to 4 sets. How many times a week? 3 times a week. That's it. Yeah. And more is not better. You don't want to do this every day. You want to give your body a rest in between. So, how do we burst train? Well, why don't we just do it to get a feel for it, and this way you guys can find out, right? All right, so I'm gonna have everybody come and stand up. Now, you can do burst training literally anything as long as you're doing 80 to 90% of your maximum. You can do 80 to 90% of your maximum while you're doing push-ups. You can do it while you're doing sit-ups. You can do it while you're doing jumping jacks. You can do it while you're on a stationary bike. You can do it while you're on a treadmill. Does everybody get the point? It's 80 to 90% of your maximum, regardless of what exercise you're doing. But for purposes of example tonight, all we're gonna do is we're just gonna run in place and do your arms up and down like this, okay? We're gonna do it for 20 seconds, and then we're gonna stop for 20 seconds. Then we're gonna do it on for 20 seconds, then we're gonna stop and rest for 20 seconds. Then we're gonna do it one more time for 20 seconds, and then we're gonna rest. Okay? And I think I have a little timer right here, so I'm gonna watch that. On your mark, get set, go. Arms up high. All right, that's 10 seconds. We're almost there. Hope I didn't disappoint anybody. 2, 1, rest. All right, so that was your 20 on. Don't sit down yet. That was your 20 on. Now's your 20 off, so this is your rest. So you're gonna recover. In about 5 more seconds, we're gonna do another 20-second set. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, you guys look great. Awesome. Even Tamara and Deborah in the back there. Where's Victoria? 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, you're doing great. Don't quit yet. Don't quit yet. Aren't you getting energized? Yeah. Awesome. All right. We got one last set. And it's coming up here in 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's finish strong. If you want to be a fat burner, this is how we do it. Good. Three, 2, 1. Woo! Good job. Give your neighbor a high five. High five, guys. Good job. Good job. All right. You can grab a seat. Excellent. Excellent. Very nice. All right. So if you look up at the slide up there, what you see is 20 seconds on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, and then what? A 2-minute rest, all right? So, because that was just one set. Now, if you don't normally and regularly work out, that's all you got to do. Just do that once, and then do that 3 or 4 times this week. And then next week, after your 2-minute rest, you add yourself a second round, okay? Another 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off. And then the following week, you add yourself a third round. And when you add all that time cumulatively, you know what you're going to find? Your workout comes to 10 or 12 minutes at the most. And so when you talk about time efficiency and maximum return on investment for the time that you're putting into this, what is the hormonal response for the next 36 hours after you do those 12 minutes? Fat burning, yes. And that's what we want to focus on tonight, how to turn your body into a full-time fat burning machine. This is the one key. If you're going to exercise, make sure that you're doing it with the expected outcome, and that is the proper hormonal response after. So, as I said, it doesn't matter if you run in place, or you do a stationary bike, or you're running on a treadmill, or you're doing any of these exercises, sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks. Just use a timer and stick with it and follow it. And after 3 days, 3 days during the week, you'll know that you're in a good routine every other day. What's the best time of day to exercise, by the way? Morning. In the morning. Why is that? Well, it's the easiest time to keep a commitment to yourself, right? Before everybody else gets a piece of you as the day goes on. Because as you get busier, as the day goes on, you're less likely to stay committed to that So the compliance is actually it's going to be at its highest. The other thing that's going to be at its highest is testosterone and human growth hormone. And you're going to need that to make what? Muscle. Yeah. Muscle is one of the greatest determinants of your metabolism. And if you can actually create lean muscle mass on your skeleton frame, depending on your age, number one, you're less likely to have the risk of fractures, right? That's a good thing. You're increasing bone density, but also what you're doing is you're stimulating your metabolism to stay in fat burning. So these are the things. Oh, the other thing is insulin is at its lowest. Is that important for fat burning? Yeah, if you keep your insulin and your blood sugar level, you keep yourself in fat burning. And that's important when it comes to not just exercise, but also the nutrition, which we're going to get to in just a moment. Now, what do you do on the alternate days? So, do I only exercise 3 days a week? No. I do something every day. I think it's a good idea to do a little bit of exercise every day. And so on the alternate days, I'm a big fan of brisk walking. And, you know, I think there's a lot that goes into walking. There's a lot that goes into when you're swinging your arms and you're alternating your arms with your legs. You're using different parts of your brain, which stimulates your brain. And it helps to prevent dementia. It helps to prevent Alzheimer's. It's great for your metabolism. It's good for your back. It's good for your lymphatic system. It's good for your endorphins. So you don't have to walk every day. You can do other things. But what I would say is just do something every day. So you're going to do these on the off days. If you're doing your burst training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'll do a brisk walk as an example Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And just do it for maybe 20 minutes. I wouldn't do it longer than that. You're really not going to get any more benefit. All right, so that's the first key. The second key is eliminate what? Sugar, toxins, and bad fats. Because what is this going to do? This is going to cause your body to hold on to the fat. Wouldn't it be nice if your body just said, I don't need this anymore. It just melted away the fat. It just like incinerated it, just dropped it off at the nearest bus stop. Wouldn't that be great? Right? But you have to know exactly the way to teach your body to do that and say, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let it go. Eliminate sugar, toxins, and bad fats. Well, sugar causes a hormonal response for what? Fat storage. When insulin goes up, insulin is the fat storing hormone. What is the fat storing hormone? Insulin. So sugar is a big no-no. And whether it's a candy corn or a cupcake or a Twinkie or a big bowl of pasta, bread, potatoes, or even a big bowl of rice. Because what is it doing? It's breaking down into what? Sugar. And when that happens, insulin goes up and fat storing goes up as well. What else? Toxins. Really? Toxins will cause weight gain? Yes. For a couple of reasons. Toxins have an affinity for the thyroid. What do toxins love to attack? The thyroid. Does that have anything to do with your metabolism? Of course we know that. Yeah, so that's one problem. Another problem is that your body knows how devastating toxins are to the system and how cancer-causing they are. So what does it do? It tries to protect your body by making more fat, and it actually sequesters the body from those toxins. So it'll create more fat, and it'll store more fat in the presence of toxins as a protective mechanism for your body. Did you know that? So that's why pulling the toxins out and detoxing is so important. Hydrogenated oils. You guys know how bad that is. Vegetable oil, hydrogenated oil, partially hydrogenated oils. What do they cause? Inflammation and acidity. If you've been to our workshops, you know we talk about this a lot. It causes heart disease, it causes cancer, it causes joint pains, it causes brain damage. But for the purposes of tonight, it's going to cause weight gain. And here's why. So acidity and inflammation, let's talk about that. So from the standpoint of an acid-alkaline balance, you know that because you have that in your pool, right? If you've ever been to a pool, there's a perfect pH balance that has to be maintained. And if that goes out of balance, what does the water look like? The one on the left. Which pool would you rather swim in? Silly question, right? Why would you not want to swim in that green pool? What's wrong with it? What's in there? algae, fungus, all types of stuff that's growing in there, that has life. There's a community of life that's teeming in that thing, right? That doesn't sound very appealing for somebody like you and I who would like to go for a nice refreshing swim, right? But the big question is, why is it teeming with life in that left picture and not in that picture? Well, it's been given an opportunity because the pH is out of balance. That those things have now an opportunity to grow in that environment. But when the pH is in a more neutral position, then they don't have the opportunity to grow in that environment. And guess what? Your body has a similar type of ecosystem, which is pH dependence inside of your body. And your lifestyle will influence that internal ecosystem similarly. When you're eating man-made foods, processed, lots of alcohol, caffeine, artificial sweeteners, lots of sugar, soft drinks, processed meats, things that you know you shouldn't be eating, what is that doing? That's having an acidic effect on your bloodstream. And it really causes a lot of damage and harm to the cells. It causes inflammation at the cellular level. But if you look on the opposite side, when you're eating good foods, healthy foods, foods you know you should be eating, like what? Like celery, cucumbers, kale, broccoli, cruciferous vegetables, right? Peppers, avocados. These are all important things, right, Herbert? These are all healthy foods, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys know I call on people who close their eyes. So just that's a hint. I do that at least once a workshop. You know, I just love having fun, and I love you guys. So I hope you don't mind me messing with you a little bit. So you have all the foods by God which are healthy and they're alkaline, and they keep your bloodstream alkaline and healthy, and it keeps inflammation to a minimum. But on the other hand, you got all these foods by man which are processed, commercialized, and just destroy that internal ecosystem. And kind of like the pool, once that ecosystem turns afoul in your bloodstream, guess what? It also has an environment which is a very nice host to fungus, yeast, mold, bacteria, viruses, and cancer. Thank you very much. Okay, so we know this, the Nobel Prize recipients, as way back as 1931, found this, that cancer will only survive in an acidic environment. Cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. And cancer does not use oxygen to respire. It needs fermentation. And guess where fermentation starts to grow? In an acidic environment. And what that looks like under live blood cell microscopy is a perfect picture on the left. That is a bloodstream that is fermented, and it's highly acidic. And think about how powerful acid is and the damage that it can do to teeth. That is, sugar breaks down into acid, and acid is what causes the cavities, right? You can put acid on marble, you can see the damage that it does to that, right? So think about the acidity and the damage and the potential that it has to do to the cells. And then you can look at those cells on the left there, and it's almost like a starburst effect. Do you see how it's almost like they're exploding? The integrity of the cell wall is disrupted. You know why? Guess what the cell walls are made up of? The surface of the cell membrane. Guess what it's made of? Fat. It's made up of fat. And so acidity and inflammation deteriorates that delicate fat wall of the cells. So what does your body do in its infinite wisdom to try to heal and repair the cell membranes, the very foundation of life in your body? What does it use to heal and repair the cell membranes? Fat. Will your body let go of fat in this condition on the left? No, it won't let go of fat if there's inflammation at the cellular level. Your body uses it as a survival mechanism. Is this making sense so far? Okay. So on the right, you have an alkaline environment, no inflammation. Those cells, you could see the surface of the cells, perfect, round. They're bouncing off of each other. They carry oxygen, right? No fermentation, no cancer developing, maximum energy, vitality, and cellular function. And that's why this is so important. That's why it's important to eat alkaline foods. That's why it's important to have good, healthy fats in your body, because those good fats that you eat are going to help to heal and repair and create that type of cellular function in your body. Are you with me so far? So what's the key to good cellular repair and allowing your body to release the fat? Drop it off at the bus stop. Add good what? Fat. What's good fat? Almonds, walnuts, avocados, olives, extra virgin olive oil, coconuts, coconut oil, right? Butter. And good fat will not make you fat. Will good fat make you fat? No. Good fat helps you burn fat. It doesn't matter if you have 30, 40, 50 grams of good fat a day. It will not get you fat. It will not cause a heart attack. Regardless of what some junk science people like to tell you, good fat is necessary to promote normal, healthy function of the cells, particularly brain cells, and help your body get in and stay in fat burning. You want to pump the fat burning, you want to prime the fat burning pump, you have to have good fat. And you need to have it in every meal. Are you guys with me so far? This is really, really important. So, if you guys remember the food pyramid, the thing that caused diabetes and caused obesity to the point that we're at experiencing it right now, you look at that food pyramid, and on the bottom, what do you see? They recommended 60% of our diet should be carbs, which raises insulin, which causes fat storage, acidity, inflammation, right? So no wonder we're sick and tired and overweight and obese as a country, and we take more medication than any other country in the world. In good measure because of these recommendations. Now, the right food pyramid is the one to the right side of that, to where you can see, where do you see the base of the pyramid? The majority of our diet should be. Yeah, so you have asparagus, you have green onions, you have broccoli, you have all those good greens, the cruciferous vegetables, you have your green beans, and then right above it, still really the base, you've got lean meats, grass-fed meats, all the good oils, nuts and seeds. Do you see any grains in that picture at all? No. What do you see? You see greens, you see vegetables, you see, what else? Fruits, vegetables, low sugar fruits, vegetables, good fats, and healthy meats. And this is largely what's known for the most part as a paleo diet. Raise your hand if you heard of the paleo diet. Okay. So very, very simple, very, very healthy. And this will help you control your insulin, your blood sugar, and if you do, it'll help your body release what? Fat. Yeah, it'll help your body be a fat burner. So give you some examples of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what you could and should be doing to help keep insulin levels low, to keep your body in fat burning if that's important to you. This is an ideal that you could shoot for the majority of the week. Am I saying you can't go for 2 slices of pizza with pepperoni on it like I just did last Friday? If I can do it, you can do it. I'm not perfect. Are you? No, we should be able to enjoy our food. I like the stuff just as much as you guys do. But for the majority of the week, if you want to be in fat burning, if you like when your pants don't feel tight, if they're kind of on the loose side and you feel light and springy and your back doesn't hurt and you have a lot of energy, I'd like to have a lot more of those days. Yes or yes? Yes. Yeah. So this is what it looks like for the most part. You have a shake or a smoothie in the morning, but not by itself. Along with that, you have some low sugar fruits. The berries, that's the breakfast of champions right there. You know, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and then don't forget the good what? Fat. So you want to have some almond butter, not roasted. You want to have the organic almond butter. And make sure that you have a little bit of fat with that breakfast there. If you have coconut milk in your shake, then that's a good fat also, right? So there are ways to get creative with that. For lunch, what do you see there? Do you see a Subway sandwich with lots of bread? Even pita, pita may have a lower glycemic index, may not have as bad a blood sugar effect, but it's still what? It's still grain, it's still bread. So the best way to keep your body in fat burning is try to gravitate toward the salads for lunch. Whatever kind of salad that you like, have a lot of greens in there and good fats. You want to have lots of extra virgin olive oil. What happens if you have a good healthy salad and you squeeze on there the honey mustard or the blue cheese out of the bag? You rip that open at a fast food place or whatever. What are you getting? Trans fats. You're getting hydrogenated oils, which causes what? Acidity and inflammation, which takes you out of fat burning. Very good. So that's for lunch, and then for dinner, what do you see? See a big basket of bread. You see potatoes. You see pasta, primavera. You see ravioli. You see lasagna. No, you don't see any of that stuff. Now, does that mean you can't have it? No, I'm not saying that. If you do that once a week, or I don't know, I mean, you'll see how good you get with this, how you feel, you can manage it. I'm just saying for the majority of the week, I would say probably five out of the 7 days, 5-6 days a week, I'm eating like this. If I feel like my pants are starting to get tight, I go right back to that. You see, you got your meat and vegetables for dinner. Doesn't matter if it's lamb, if it's a ribeye, have broccoli with it. If it's a chicken breast, you have your asparagus or green beans with it. A piece of fish. Is this making sense to you guys right now? The most important meal, if you want to stay in fat burning and not put on weight and have it lay on you and sit on you and turn to fat, the most important meal that you don't mess up is what? Raise your hand if you say breakfast. Raise your hand if you say dinner. You would be right. Those of you who said dinner are right. Because, at least you have the whole day. If you blow breakfast, at least you have the whole day to burn off your Frosted Flakes. Or your Pop-Tarts or whatever you did to blow it. At least you have your whole day. You got your metabolism working for you. But the second you load up on carbs and then you go into hibernation for 12 hours, what is your body doing with that? It's turning it right into fat. That's why you want to be super, super clean with that last meal of the day. If you're going to cheat one of the earlier meals, but try not to blow dinner if at all possible. Proper hydration and mineral balance, also very important for your body to burn fat. Why is that? Because when you're dehydrated, your body doesn't want to let go of the fat. Hydration and body fat percentage are inversely proportional. So that means when your water percentage goes down, your body fat percentage proportionally will go up, which is the opposite also, which means when you're well hydrated, your body fat percentage will go down. And your body knows this, and it does this intentionally, because when you're well hydrated, your body will stay more alkaline, and it has a tendency to want to stay in fat burning. So how do you know if you're well hydrated or not? What's a good measure? How can you tell? Very good. Looking at your urine. What color should your urine be when you're well hydrated? Clear, white. If it's yellow and you just took a whole bunch of supplements, the hour before, it should be like a bright fluorescent yellow. But if it's a dark yellow and you're not taking supplements, that's not healthy at all. That's bad news. So each of us should be drinking about half your body weight in fluid ounces. So for a 200-pound man, that's probably 3 liters, right? Just to give you an idea. Does that make sense? So one of the things that causes dehydration also, is it causes your cells to kind of shrivel up like raisins, is a lack of minerals. And that's one of the reasons why I use this pink salt. It's got all the trace minerals. You're supposed to have like 90 or 100 different trace minerals in the soil. Now, these days, we've got like 4 or 5 or 6 of them. The soil is completely, it's void of them. And then the table salt that we have doesn't have the nutrients and the minerals either, because of the superheating. They superheat it to like 1,000 degrees, and it just destroys all the minerals. So this pink salt that we have basically is solar dried. It's sun dried, and so it retains all of its minerals. And it's from like the volcanic ash around there in the mountains in Hawaii, and also some from the Mediterranean. Also, we've been using this for years. I use it every day for lunch and for dinner. It always goes on all my foods. So I would recommend that easy thing to help you with retaining water. And that's not the type of salt that causes your blood pressure to go up either. So, I'm all talked out here. I gotta give myself a rest here. I just want to take a moment, and I want to, first of all, I want to recognize our wonderful, dynamic team, Deborah, Tamara, and Victoria. Everybody give them a big round of applause. We have a couple of awards to hand out real quick, and just to give our minds a rest here. This is for perfect adjustment attendance. And when we call your name, just stand up, and they're going to come by and crown you with one of these Elevation Health Awards, Medals of Excellence and Medals of Honor for perfect adjustment attendance, not missing an adjustment, getting phenomenal results, and we love and appreciate you for that. This one is for Kira and Malcia. You guys stand up. Everybody give them a big round of applause. Good job, good job. Awesome, awesome. Almost, as long as it's, you know, one of those Mediterranean blends, and you look and see that it's not super heated. Yeah. Himalayan sea salt, yeah, exactly. Okay, so many of you are wondering, well, this is kind of awkward. Why did we just stop in the middle and do awards? Because normally at this point we would take a break and everybody would stand up and we do our massages. But you know, with our COVID crisis now, I guess we've kind of put that on hold there. So we will trust that this year it's going to die out here pretty soon, right? Or right? Right. Yeah. So we can get back to our normal workshops and our normal lives. But I'm going to give you some general supplements to help you with fat burning. I have a couple of recommendations. The first one is our Complete Clean smoothie. This is what I was talking about, having a smoothie in the morning. And what this easily does is it saves you a ton of time, saves you some money, because all you need to do is grab a glass, fill it with some water or almond milk, and dump in 2 scoops. And what does that get you? A full multivitamin spectrum, antioxidants, minerals, vitamins, 26 grams of protein, which is pretty high. It's a good source of protein. And also, it's very low in sugar. So as far as starting your day in fat burning, it's going to keep your sugar stable and level, and that keeps your energy, you know, on the upward trend for the rest of the day. So that's the best way to start off. I always have this. I have this every morning after I work out, and with that, I also have my what? My berries. Also have my berries. Some of you guys have seen the picture. I love nothing better in the morning to me than, even when I travel, I take berries with me. I take berries and almond butter with me when I travel, and I take my shake. Whenever I go out of town, it goes with me. It's just how I roll, so that's just me. But I would strongly recommend it, highly recommend it. If you haven't tried it, try it. You'll feel clean, you'll feel light, and you won't be hungry for many hours, and it's hard to beat that. And it's not to mention, it saves a lot of time. I mean, I love the fact that I can literally do this in 2 minutes, and I'm right in the shower, and I'm in the office literally 10 minutes later. So the Ultraplex glutamine, that's another one of our supplement suite resources. Why? Because the glutamine helps your body to build muscle mass. It's conducive to building muscle mass as far as the building blocks and maintaining muscle mass. It's also important for your immune system. It's also an important support for detoxification. So it's a precursor for glutathione, which also works with the shake. Both of those have a low-level detox component to them, which we spoke about earlier. Getting rid of the toxins is very important for what? Fat burning. So that's why this is appropriate on many different levels for building muscle mass, which is a determinant for your metabolism, the strength of your metabolism, and also it supports a healthy immune function. So a lot of boxes that one checks. Then you have green tea phytosome. Why is this important? Because green tea, as you know, has something called thermogenic. What is thermogenic? Fat burning effects. But a lot of times people don't like to drink tea or coffee because of the caffeine. Well, you don't have the caffeine in this, but you do have the thermogenic effects of green tea. So that's why this is important, and it definitely helps to accelerate the fat loss process. So those 3 together make up our supplement suite. When you get all 3 together, you get a 15% discount. Yes?
The glutamine, that's a shake as well?
No, it's just a scoop. You take the scoop out, and you can put it in, mix it in water or the shake.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it looks like a big tub like the
I
shake,
just
but it's
wanted
not.
to know if it was a shake, how you would take the first one and the other one like in the same day. I mean,
Yeah, no, it all goes together. You can take them all together, all in the same shot. Yeah. So the supplement suite, as we said, we only give discounts the night of the workshop to help you guys make application with what you've learned. There's limited supply tonight, so if you'd like before you leave. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll also have the opportunity to partake in that. If you wanted to get any of those resources, go to our website. That's our webpage. If you go to the far right, you see Shop Online. Just click on that. It'll give you the drop-down menu. It'll take you to a shopping cart. You create a shopping cart, and you just click on those items that we talked about, in addition to any others that you may want, and you'll have access to everything that everybody else has access to the office here. So we're not leaving you out. Those of you who are watching online. Google reviews. How many of you guys read Google reviews? How many of you guys read reviews? How important are reviews? They're really important to me. I mean, there's probably not a day that goes by that I'm either not on Amazon or eBay or on Google, and I read reviews because there's a ton of things to choose from, but you want to go with what? The 5-star. Do people look at that before they go to doctors or health clinics? Of course. And many of you have written wonderful reviews for us that we've been told when people come in, like, I read your reviews, and that's why I'm here. And this is why I'm bringing this up, because it's really important. You never know how far-reaching something you do will touch and change and affect the lives of people out there in our community. You could help someone tremendously by a review that you write. So I would beg of you just to think about doing this. If you do the review, take a picture of it, bring it in. We'll give you a little gift certificate there, save you some money on any of those. The big deal is making a difference in our community for people that are hurting, they're suffering. They don't know what we do here, but it's life-changing, isn't it? How many of you guys are learning something important tonight? Where do you get this stuff? People don't even know where. They're just being lied to, and they're being blindsided. Got a great resource here for you guys. So let's share it, and I appreciate you guys for being generous with that. All right, so how many of you guys would like a couple extra years longevity? Bonus, an extra decade, Lord willing, if the creek don't rise. If you're feeling good, if your joints feel good, if your back is good, if you got a lot of energy, would you mind living to 90 or 100? I wouldn't, to be honest with you. If we're not suffering, if we love life, if we love what we're doing, if we love, working with people and taking care of people and serving people and just, have a purpose in life, why not? You go the distance. Wouldn't it suck to go the distance and leave your health behind? That's the biggest thing that I hear of people like, heck no, I don't want to live that long if I'm going to be in pain. Hey, it started now, right? Here's what I said. 30 years they did on average with this study. 122,000 men and women. Here's what they found. They estimated that the women who adopted these 5 habits would see 14 more years of life, and men would have 12 more years. And wouldn't you know it? Surprise, surprise. Eat a healthy what?
diet.
Exercise. Right? Don't drink, don't smoke, and manage a what? Maintain a what? Healthy BMI. Somewhere between 18.5 and 24.9. That's healthy. Now, once you go between 25 and 30, you're getting into the danger zone. Over 30, now it's almost a given that person is going to start dealing at some point with diabetes, heart attack, cancer, and this is what the World Health Organization talks about when they have their grading scale. So obesity and cancer, people with a BMI over 30 have, compared to people with healthy BMI, have an 80% greater chance of kidney, liver, and stomach cancer. Did you know that? If the BMI is over 30. If the BMI is over 30, talking about brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, bowel cancer, 30 to 50% greater risk if the BMI is over 30. Is this starting to make sense? Kind of like a big deal? It's a lot more than just, a cosmetic issue. This is fat that infiltrates your organs. It suffocates your liver. It suffocates your stomach. It suffocates your heart. It is a big deal, and the World Health Organization has set up this grading schedule so that they can tell what the risk factor is Once you get over 30, it's a big time red flag. So this is why we do a body composition analysis in our office, because when you stand on your scale at home, for most of you guys, it doesn't tell you what your BMI is. It doesn't tell you what your body fat percentage is, your metabolic age, how much water you have. And it, at some point you should know where you're at to know how important it is or how fast you should be getting started with this. But let's break down a body composition analysis. When we stand you on a scale in our office, there's a low-level electrical impulse that we take off your socks and shoes. This low-level electrical impulse, you can't even feel it, goes through your body. And there's resistance to the tissues. Water, muscle, fat, all has different densities. So the computer has an algorithm that it can pick up and differentiate between fat, water, and muscle. So that's why when we look at this, the computer actually will do a printout, a readout of where you're at with all these things. So of course it'll tell you your weight. If I were to ask you right now, do you know your weight loss goals? You know how much weight you want to lose? You'd probably say yes. But what if I asked you, where's your BMI, or what do you want your BMI to be at? Or what if I asked you, how much fat do you want to lose? Where would you start? You don't even know. Is it more important to lose weight, or is it more important to lose fat? It's more important to lose fat, because you could be losing weight and watching your scale go down, but what if you're losing muscle and water? Guess what you're doing to your metabolism? You're making it slower. So you're doing more damage. And so that's why you have to have a dashboard, and you really have to know what these numbers are. And as time goes on, as you're progressing, it can tell you if you're losing the right weight, the right place. So there's a BMI 28.9. Body fat percentage 42%. We know that normal body fat percentage should be between low 20s for men, maybe 30% for women. If you're at 42 or 50 or 60%, again, that's a big red flag. Visceral fat. What is visceral fat? That's the fat. Yeah, that's the fat around your organs. That should be somewhere between 6 and 8 for a healthy person. Once you start going over, getting 11, 12, you start significantly increasing the risk for fatty liver disease. In fact, I've had a lot of liver patients, and I've never had a liver patient come in who is not already in the deep red, 14, 16. So for you to stand on that scale and you see your visceral fat is like 12, 14, 16, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, I'm heading toward the falls. I don't have any paddles in the water, and I can start hearing the roar of the falls. And I'm going over. At some point, you're going to be dealing with something. This is when those organs are suffocated by that fat. And again, you wouldn't know that by how you look in the mirror. You only know that by looking at what? The body composition analysis. So the body water percentage. Remember what I said about body water? The lower that water percentage is, your body water percentage should be between 50 and 60. So most of you guys in this room, you're probably closer to 40. You'd be thinking, no, I drink water all day long. But if you're mineral deficient, it doesn't matter. The water passes right out of you if you don't have the right minerals. The cells will not absorb that water if they're mineral deficient. So you're just drinking water like a fish, and the cells are dried up like raisins. They're all crumpled up. But the second you start getting those minerals in and you start focusing on it, they plump up like raisins, juicy grapes, right? From raisins to grapes. And then when your body water percentage goes up, what happens? Your body fat percentage goes what? Goes down. And then muscle mass goes up proportionately also. So these are the things that we look at. So when we look at the body composition analysis, these are all of the things: body water percentage. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you, which is pretty neat, is your metabolic age. Now, let me ask you this question. If you're 60 years old and your metabolic age came up on one of these as 90, what would you be thinking?
Check those out.
What's that? What's that? You're in trouble, yeah. It doesn't matter how good you eat, how much burst training you do, you have the metabolism of a turtle. And if you do a low-calorie diet, you slow it down even more. So the metabolic age, again, what did we say the key to fat burning is and keeping the weight off? Fixing the what? The metabolism. Yeah, so when you go through a plan like this, a weight loss program, where you know you're losing fat and you're speeding up your metabolism and you're resetting your metabolism, if you fix the metabolism, you know you've corrected the cause of the problem, and you don't have to worry about the weight going back on again. So that's why the metabolic age is so important. If you're 60 years old and you had a metabolic age of 40, what would that be telling you? Yeah, you can go out and cheat one night, the scale may go up, it may go down, but the day after that, it's going to be right back where it needs to be. Because your metabolism knows how to burn it off at that point. So, here, I'll give you an example.
Hi, my name's Larry. I've been on the program for a few days short of 2 months. My 40-day weight loss period, I lost 33 pounds. And my numbers across the board are great. I was taking one medication for blood pressure. I'm not taking that anymore. My metabolic age when I started here was 63, which wasn't bad because I'm 62. But after 40 days, it was 37, if you can believe that. My body mass index is healthy. Everything's great across the board.
So how do we do that? We monitor we monitor you week after week. You get comparative body composition analysis so that you can see each of those numbers moving in the right direction. So that you can see your weight go down, but what's more important than that? That your body fat's coming down. Yeah, you're dumping fat. Your muscle mass is going up. Your water is going up. Your water percentage is going up. Your metabolic age is coming down. And for each successive body composition analysis, you can see it. It creates a graph chart. And that's very gratifying when you can see that. Not just look in the mirror and feel it, but you can see it. And it's objective evidence that you're really accomplishing your health goals through this. So not only do we follow up with the weigh-ins, but you'll get a manual. When you have the manual, it tells you what to do on a day-to-day basis, the recipes, what to stay away from, what foods you should choose. And then there's also a journal that you keep where you bring that in so that we can see and make sure that your food portions are correct and that you're applying the principles of the program so the results are predictable. So it's really hard to mess that up if you're following the program to a T. All the food that we give you is fat burning. All the supplements are included that support you with the fat burning, and all the weigh-ins. So we pretty much hold your hand and we give you a guarantee. If you don't lose at least 15 pounds by the end of the program, and you're following it to a T. In other words, if you follow the program exactly how it's set out and you don't lose at least 15 pounds, we'll put you through a second one at our expense. So there is a guarantee to this program. We've put probably about 2,500 people through this program very successfully, and not just them hitting their weight goals, but also their health goals. I'll give you another example.
Hi, my name is Raquel Menard. I've been on the program for 3 days, and I've lost a total of 18 pounds. I feel fabulous. One of the great things about this program is that you get to weigh yourself every morning, and it's not disappointing. And when you do have any type of hiccup on the program, it's not a problem. Just contact someone, and you will get an answer. That's great. So by the time you're done, you get to this point, you really feel good.
Thank you.
Go.
Yes.
I'm Tom Brady. I've been, today's the 16th of April. I've been on the program my 43rd day now. I lost a total of 25 pounds, and I've cut my insulin down to under a third of what I was taking.
Awesome.
So I'm going in the right direction. Program works.
That's amazing. That's what counts. And so if this is something that interests you, if you want to get some more information on it, see if you're a candidate for the program, Deborah can meet with you. She can do your body composition analysis. Normally it's $99, but for the event, for being here tonight, it's only $27. If you're watching on Facebook, you'd like to do this, just either call us at the office or message us on Facebook. As long as you respond tonight before the program ends, we can get you in for this special discounted rate. Deborah, you're over here. Raise your hand so everybody can see you. Deborah can make your appointment if you'd like to do that for the body composition analysis. She can tell you a little bit more about the program and how we may be able to help you with that. So I gave you 2 keys. The last key is proper nerve supply. Proper nerve supply. Why is that important? Because weight loss is also intimately involved with your nervous system. And this comes from medical research. They said that with few exceptions, hormone deficiency or hormone excess. Are hormones involved with weight loss? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the result of pathological manifestations in the what? The neural pathways. Another study showed that spinal lesions of the atlas and axis, what's that? Top two vertebrae in the neck, they said were associated with abnormal function of the what? Pituitary gland, which caused hormonal imbalances, hormonal secretions. So does it make sense to everybody that if there's interference between your brain and the organs that it's trying to communicate with, it can make it difficult for your body to lose weight? Does that make sense? So what does that look like? We call this subluxation. When the bones shift out of alignment, you may or may not feel that pressure on the nerves. Most of the time it's not painful. It's kind of like a cavity in the beginning stages. You don't feel it. But what happens is the bones, as they shift out of alignment, they impede the nerves, kind of like a kink in a garden hose. And that alters the communication to where the brain is trying to bring those messages to. In the upper part of the neck, it affects the blood supply to the head, and that can result in headaches, nervousness, trouble sleeping, high blood pressure, tiredness, dizziness. I see this all the time. The last place that people think can cause these health problems is the spine. And there's a neurological relationship. The thyroid, if you've got a bone out of alignment in your neck and it's shutting down nerve supply to your thyroid, could that cause a problem with weight loss or hormones? Of course. You can mess up your metabolism big time. It can affect your liver, affect your body's ability to detox with that in the kidneys. Your reproductive organs can throw off your hormones. It can cause fibroid tumors. It can cause prostate enlargement. It can cause prostate cancer. Did you know that? Yes. Bones out of alignment. Anytime you shut down the communication and the cells go out of control from the brain, oncologists have said that, that's when cells go rogue, and that's the beginning of what? Cancer. So I'll give you an example.
Please state your name and rank.
Yeah, my name is Dwight Hoot. I started chiropractic here with Dr. Yachter. I'm a recovering cancer patient, prostate cancer, to be exact. I used to have problems at nights, urinating like 4 or 5 times a night. And I also had problems when I used the bathroom. I was looking at stool. The blood in my stool is no more. And the frequency of going to the bathroom at nights has gone down to 1. So
It's a big improvement.
right, it's improving tremendously.
That's great.
And the first thing that happened was my nostril. My right nostril was blocked, and now my nostril is okay.
So you're breathing better.
Breathing better. So there's 3 things within just 3 weeks.
3
Has
weeks.
improved tremendously.
That's awesome. And your x-rays are phenomenal too.
Okay.
Yeah.
My X-rays came back really good.
So that's awesome. Keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. Thank God. The best is yet to come.
All right.
That's pretty neat, huh? Yeah. So again, does chiropractic have to do with more than just a crick in your neck and your back? Yeah. The longer you're under care, the more health benefits that you get to see. Many of you came in and you had your spine checked when you were, what, in your 60s? 60s, 70s. Imagine if you went to the dentist for the first time and had them check your teeth when you were that age. What would that picture look like? There'd be a lot of decay in there. Well, your spine decays kind of like your teeth, especially when the bones are out of alignment. It's almost like if a wheel goes out of alignment on your car, how does that tire wear? A lot what? A lot faster. Isn't it better to have those wheels in alignment so they last longer? How long do you want your spine to last you for? If your teeth rot and fall out, you can get new teeth, but what happens with your back? Then you got problems, you have degenerative disc disease, but it takes down the health of all your organs at different levels with it. So how much more important is it to have your spine checked, no differently on a regular basis than your teeth, right? But where do we make the time to do that? Well, if you don't have a chiropractor, that could start right now. And normally, when we check out the spine, the place that we start with is, a consultation, an examination. We'll do a thermal scan. This is NASA space technology where we do thermography, check your spine, and we'll check your posture. And if we have reason to believe there's a problem in there, then we look at x-rays also. And then we put it all together and see if you have a problem that we're trying to diagnose. We look at all that diagnostic criteria. sometimes people say, you know what, doc, I don't really have any problems. I just want you to check me out. I've never had it checked. And that's actually the best place to start to prevent problems. But either way, you know, when you look at the test results, the tests don't lie. They either say, good job, here's the next time you come back, or here's a red flag, this is time sensitive, better to take care of it now than treating it with medication, surgery, radiation, and stuff like that later, right? How much more valuable is it to prevent disease than to be treating it? We don't have to tell the story on that, so you guys know. So normally, to have that first consultation, evaluation, exam, even x-rays included, normally it's about $350. If you're a guest here tonight or you're watching on Facebook, because I've had people respond to this on Facebook as well, we do this as a workshop special for only $97. So again, it's with the x-rays included for only $97. So if you're a guest here tonight, you'd like to take advantage of that, Deborah can make that appointment for you also. Again, if you're on Facebook, let us know, call in or message us on Facebook, and we'll honor that for you as well. The offer ends when the program ends tonight. And that's what it looks like. So make sure you get you get on the schedule for next month for our Heart Smart Nutrition next month. And your fat burning supplements are available up there in limited supplies, as I said. And if you'd like to get your body composition analysis, learn more about the weight loss program, or make a chiropractic appointment, see Deborah there. Thank you so much for coming tonight, guys. I love and appreciate you. God bless.